Concerned about another aspect of this, which is that the small guys and the small startups will quickly die. And that is certainly not what our any policy objective is, that we want only the big guys to weather this and the small guys die.
One of the areas where regulation is now kind of being spoken about, and one area that I thought, was coming out of India with some innovation and with some sense of sustainable business model was gaming. Mm-hmm. And it's a space where, we were not dependent on Google, Facebook to kind of see success. We had many, gaming companies, real money and even just normal gaming companies who were just, they were just hitting it out of the park. Every quarter, the results were, better than they expected. A lot of investments came with it. They got a bit of a body blow a couple of days ago. What's your view exactly on gaming? Your personal view?
No, so look. First of all, I don't think it should be considered or characterized as a body blow. There is a certain process that the GST Council, which please understand that is not government of India, that is all state governments, and there is a general tendency among state governments to look at gambling and then extrapolate online gambling and online gaming as a surrogate of gambling as being a social evil. So there is that instinct in almost all popularly elected state governments and the government in the center to basically not allow that to be encouraged and grow. Parallelly, on the 7th of January of this year, we were given a mandate in MeitY to create a framework for what will be permissible online. That through a series of consultations, we have now notified essentially a framework of what is permissible. So this train of the GST Council was on its own independent track for the last 2.5 years. They have pronounced essentially that they consider online gambling to be akin to gambling in casinos. And I have clarified yesterday after the GST came out, that we will certainly take this evolving framework that allows permissible online gaming, including permissible online real money gaming, and we will ask the GST Council to consider it. And therefore, their own view of the online gaming space will be divided into what is permissible and what is not permissible. And on the non-permissible side, you can do whatever punitive taxation, GST that you want. But on the permissible, it should be something, a tax regime that we hope they will consider, should encourage the growth, encourage the innovation and proliferation and expansion, investments and job creation in that space. That is our goal, hope, and mission, and we will certainly be working on that. So I don't think, yes, it was not good news for some people, but it is from a slightly different perspective of not being aware that this work is now reaching conclusion and this regulatory framework has reached almost, now we are clear on this. We will refer this to the GST Council.
The GST Council has a lot of BJP-controlled state finance ministers in it.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be that difficult to kind of convince them, I guess.
No. Look, I mean, if you say so, I will agree. I don't want to contradict you. Look, I'm not the one who's going to be convincing them. It's the Honorable Finance Minister who chairs the GST Council. I certainly will. It is our duty and mission that we will communicate to them what we believe is the new framework of permissible online gaming and what is not permissible as a mutually excluded section, and then they will consider it.
Whatever is permissible. There was an interesting column in the Financial Express today. I can shamelessly plug my own newspaper on my show, so I'm doing it.
Vertical integration.
Vertical integration.
Bundling.
Which actually said that they welcomed the 28%. They said at least it's the state will benefit. Let governments benefit from it, but let the industry also thrive.
So Anand, there is a history here that there have been bad actors in the online gaming. Now, for all of the characterization of body blow and we are upset and Rajiv Chandrasekhar is Murdabad and all that stuff, there have been people who have gamed the system as gaming companies. So a lot of that is now determining the response of state governments. I mean, for example, in my state in Karnataka, there is clearly a bad actor there who has gamed the system and made lots of money, not paid any GST. And so therefore, that is also conditioning a lot of the state level behavior that some of these platforms, I don't see a lot of them, some of these platforms have masqueraded as gaming and have done gambling. Some of these platforms have masqueraded as gaming but not paid GST at all, even at the 18%. So there is that also happening. So I don't want anybody to believe that this is all just about the GST Council getting it wrong. Some of the responses by the state governments are conditioned by what companies have done in the past. I am hoping with this new regulation and this new regulatory framework settling down, that everybody can be onboarded who will be good, responsible, sort of participants in the online gaming space.
No, I mean, a Gamescraft, you won't say the name, let me say it, a Gamescraft kind of organization, if it, you will be able to sift that out easier if you kind of move on this kind of fast. But your idea of permissible games and non-permissible games, let's just talk about permissible games right now. You would accept that as the GST Council has suggested right now and has proposed and probably get into law in 4 or 5 months, it is punitive, right? Because and my understanding, and I'm actually quite confused about it, but my sense of it was that every time you go and you make a bet.
So there are many, one of the problems is that there are many interpretations of this and it's not still fully clear even to me.
Okay.
Are you paying 28% on every wager out of the wallet into the game?
Yes.
Are you paying it one time into the wallet? If you're doing it every time, then certainly it's going to become extremely complex.
May as well not have
expensive.
to,
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I am concerned about another aspect of this, which is that the small guys and the small startups will quickly die. And that is certainly not what any policy objective is, that we want only the big guys to weather this and the small guys die. So I think, like I said, we are at early stages of developing this framework. Once we are also convinced that we have settled down the framework, we will communicate this to the GST Council. And I have spoken to the Honorable Finance Minister herself, and we will hopefully have them consider this.